Daniel was the kind of man people instantly respected without him ever saying a word. Broad-shouldered, soft-spoken, a single dad raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, after losing his wife to a sudden heart failure 3 years ago. And though he never complained, the weight of loneliness clung to him like a shadow. He pretended he didn't notice. He woke early, packed lunches, braided Lily's hair after watching YouTube tutorials, worked long shifts as a mechanic, and came home to a quiet kitchen where Lily's laughter was the only thing strong enough to keep his heart from collapsing inward. But his friends, his friends, were convinced that Daniel needed love again, needed warmth again, needed someone who would see beyond his grief. So they hatched a brilliant plan, as they called it, a blind date, which Daniel resisted with every ounce of stubbornness he had, insisting he wasn't ready, insisting Lily came first, insisting that no one could replace the woman he lost. Yet his friends didn't give up, and one evening after work they tricked him into showing up at a local cafe under the excuse of needing his help with a surprise. And that's when he saw her, Mariah, a plus-size woman with kind brown eyes, a nervous smile, and hands that trembled as she held onto her purse, because she too had been dragged into this blind date by well-meaning but nosy co-workers who told her she needed to get out more and stop hiding behind her. Wait. And as soon as Daniel realized what was happening, he looked at his so-called friends with disbelief, frustration, and a flash of anger, because he knew why they chose Mariah for him. They assumed someone like him, a widowed single dad who barely had time to breathe, should be with someone they considered less desirable by society's cruel standards. And what made it worse was that Mariah heard them, laughing outside the cafe window, about how Daniel wouldn't dare say no to a nice big girl, and though she pretended, she didn't hear. Her smile had been trembling ever since. Daniel, uncomfortable and embarrassed by the situation, but unwilling to hurt her feelings, sat down across from her, noticing instantly the sadness behind her polite expression, and he cleared his throat awkwardly, starting the conversation with soft respect. But Mariah spoke first, apologizing for being not what he expected, apologizing for being too big, apologizing for something she shouldn't have had to apologize for at all. And Daniel felt his heart twist in his chest because he recognized that tone. That pain, he carried it himself during the months after his wife passed, when every part of him felt like a burden to the world. The date continued in quiet, hesitant exchanges. But soon, as Mariah relaxed, Daniel discovered she had a warm, witty personality, a soft laugh that filled the air with comfort, and a sharp intelligence that made him forget the awkwardness of the setup entirely, especially when she spoke about working with special needs children, how she loved their unfiltered honesty and the joy they carried. And Daniel found himself smiling, truly smiling, for the first time in a long while. Still, the shadows of humiliation lingered over her. And when she excused herself to the restroom, Daniel overheard 2 women mock her size, saying things like, "She's lucky anyone even showed up," and something inside him snapped, not in anger, but in heartbreak for her, when Mariah returned, pretending she hadn't heard the comments, even though her red eyes said she had. Daniel made a decision he didn't expect to make. Not this early, not this night, but the moment demanded it, because no woman deserved to cry alone over something as cruel as society's standards. The night ended, and Daniel insisted on walking her to her car, talking gently to ease her embarrassment. And when they reached her door, she hesitated before whispering, "You don't have to pretend to like me. I know how this must look to you." And Daniel inhaled sharply because it hurt. Actually hurt him to think she saw herself that way, and with the moon shining above them like a witness to 2 broken souls trying to believe they deserved more than pain. Daniel said quietly, "I'm not pretending anything. I think you're more than what people see. I think you deserve someone who sees your heart first." But Mariah shook her head, whispering, "People don't see my heart, Daniel. They see my size. They see a joke." And she turned to leave, wiping away tears she didn't want him to notice. But Daniel reached out and gently held her wrist, not forcefully, just enough to stop her. And in that moment, Lily, sitting in the back seat of Daniel's truck waiting patiently, called out, "Daddy, is that the lady we're gonna have dinner with?" And Mariah froze, turning back with wide eyes, because she wasn't expecting a child to be involved. And Daniel, suddenly shy but sincere, introduced them. Lily waved eagerly, already liking Mariah for reasons children understand better than adults: kindness, softness, warmth. And as Mariah leaned down to greet her, Lily hugged her belly with childlike innocence and said, "You're really pretty." And that simple, honest compliment broke something open in Mariah's soul, something years of insults had crushed, and while she blinked away fresh tears, Daniel watched with quiet admiration, realizing that this woman, with her soft heart and wounded smile, might just be the unexpected blessing life had been waiting to give him. Little did any of them know that by the end of this journey, Daniel would say words at a crowded restaurant, in front of everyone, that would leave the whole room in tears and change both their lives forever.